Hi, welcome to AI Impact and Strategy. In our previous video, we interviewed Devani Ashar, and she showed us how she uses Midjourney AI to create amazing graphics and to do it really, really quickly. In today's video, we're going to go to the other end of the spectrum and look at the data which lies at the base layer of all AI efforts of analytics. And why is this important? Well, a recent report from MIT Technology Review makes it pretty clear. The report is about data and how organizations can become data-driven using AI. And the very first paragraph of the report reads like this. It says, an organization's ability to generate actionable insights from data, often in real time, is of the highest strategic importance. To help them become data-driven, companies are deploying increasingly advanced cloud-based technologies, including analytics tools with ML capabilities. And then the punchline here, what these tools deliver, however, will be of limited value without abundant, high quality, and easily accessible data. So the obvious key question here is, how do organizations assure that their data is abundant, high quality, and trustable, and easily accessible? Well, to answer these questions, today we're going to interview the co-founder and CEO of the Modern Data Company. Modern is a Silicon Valley venture-backed startup company that is attracting a lot of attention and now a lot of customers precisely because of its unique approach to data, data management, and AI. Obviously, Modern has a lot to say about AI and data, and so tell us the story, please.
Awesome. So Langdon, the mission with which we started the Modern Data Company is to truly transform how enterprise business users use data as a competitive advantage. When you see the market today, every approach to data hinges on having serious technical expertise to be able to prepare the data and then think about what sort of AI modeling do I need to apply, what sort of insights can I generate to drive what sort of business decisions. And that is not working out. When you see the history of technology, the sooner we can abstract out all of this complexity, the more mainstream that technology becomes. And I feel data is at that tipping point where organizations are starting to see data as a true business asset that should be in the hands of the business users and give them simplified tools to drive that competitive advantage. That's not happening today. And our mission is to make enterprise data as easy as a business user finding it, trusting what they find, and being able to use it themselves without needing technology. So that's broadly what we're trying to do at Modern.
Mm-hmm. And so, what's the product or service offering that delivers that on that promise?
Yeah, so we have a platform that we call a data operating system. The name of the platform is DataOS. And the value proposition is that we can deploy this platform on top of a customer's existing data infrastructure. One simple integration into their storage layer converts all of that technical, jargon around data into a very simplified business asset where security, trust, where did the data come from? Is this compliant with GDPR, CCPA? Am I governing this right? Am I protecting my data? All happens from this business asset, which we call a data product. We deploy it within the customer's data environment, data infrastructure. So we are a very open platform. Everything that the customer does, they have control over. And it coexists and interoperates with any technology that the customer uses today to run the data infra.
So now, how does all that relate to AI?
Yeah, great question. And you're seeing a lot of probably investments being made in data, especially with the rise of ChatGPT and the value that organizations have suddenly seen with this kind of a technology in a broader internet knowledge corpus.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to applying that same technology to your enterprise data, there's a lot of challenges. And most of these challenges lay at the data infrastructure level. Am I preparing the data in the right way so that you can run effective AI? Unless the quality of the data is good, what you do with AI is going to reflect that underlying quality. Sometimes it could be dangerous if you don't fix and understand what is the quality of your data. Are you protecting the data well? Are you introducing biases which might lead you to the wrong business decisions? All of that needs to be taken care of with the infrastructure layer. And that is where, a platform like this comes into picture, where we are inherently ensuring that the trust, the quality, the compliance, the governance aspects of data are taken care of so that the business user can start thinking about what sort of AI models do I want to bring in to streamline, what sort of business operations and how quickly can I react to my business needs with predictive capabilities. All of that hinges on high quality data, which is trusted, compliant,
Mhm.
and the business has the peace of mind that I can start building my models on top of this. Today, if there are $100 being invested in AI, I would assume 70 to $80 are going towards fixing the data versus investing in improving the model, improving your predictions. And
Right.
that is the dichotomy I see where the most of the value is on the consumption side, most of the investments are happening on the management side. And
Mhm.
our mission is to flip that paradigm.
Okay. So can you describe some of the organizations that are using modern and how they're getting benefit from it in conjunction with AI?
So our laser focus has been on global 2000 companies, these large enterprise clients that will see a massive impact if they get their data management right.
Okay.
And the kind of platform we provide especially allows large enterprises to manage their data in a significantly simpler manner than what they're able to do. But more importantly, create these business asset data catalogs. We call them data product catalogs
Hmm.
that completely transform how enterprises work with data. Just to give you some examples, before a technology like DataOS from the modern data company, our customers used to take maybe a year to build some new applications that will allow their sales teams to understand what is the next best action they should be taking when they visit a customer site, as an example.
Wait, so you said a year.
A year
Okay.
to,
12 months, 365 days.
and yes, it might sound crazy, but it's multiple things. It's just not technology. It's how data teams are organized today, how much
Mhm.
dependence you have on your technical tooling, what sort of maturity is on the data side, on the business side when it comes to data. All of these add up to that year.
Mhm.
With our capability, the same business teams, without thinking about technology teams supporting them, are able to execute those use cases, build applications in Streamlit, React, etc., to hand it to their sales associates. All of this is happening within minutes versus waiting a year. That is the transformative power of treating
Wow.
data as a business asset.
Okay. Well, that's pretty interesting. I've a couple of the other interviews that I've done on this channel, people have talked about a 20x productivity improvement. But if we're talking about minutes to years, we're talking about hundreds of X here.
I believe so. Almost think of it like, you are creating an app store for your enterprise data assets, which are
Yeah.
findable, inherently trustable.
Right.
All you have to do is start using them with the integrations that are already pre-built. That is where the 1 year becomes minutes and self-serve, more importantly. And what we've also seen is, given that this level of simplicity to access complex data from a business side exists, we are seeing, like, for example, marketing managers be a lot more value driving functions than just executing campaigns and reporting on the results. They're able to get more deeper into the data to understand where is this resonating with what segment of customers, how should I change the messaging while the campaign is running so that I can improve my ROI.
Hmm.
So functions that used to be more support functions are now becoming more value driving functions just because we have unlocked access to data in a much more simpler manner.
And do the people who are doing that, who are creating that value, are they specifically using AI or they're just using analytical capabilities based on the data products that you're providing?
It's an all the above.
Right.
When you think about, how do I streamline my sales operations or marketing operations or my finance operations?
Hmm.
It is a combination of multiple things. There's still a need for very detailed dashboards where you can drive these insights and understand what is happening. You definitely need AI, ML to add more predictive capabilities. And now with Gen AI becoming a major part of the organization's data strategy, that also is a big value add. How do I provide more simple conversational interfaces for
Hmm.
my brains to be able to understand what is happening and, more importantly, react very, very quickly at the speed of your business?
So how many years does it take to install DataOS?
How many years? Oh, so we can get a customer up and running in a few hours. We typically deploy within the customer's cloud environment. So all we need is the infrastructure provisioning to be done by the customer. We have an automated way of deploying the entire capability within their Azure, AWS, or Google environments. And there is a fair amount of machine learning and automation, which helps us understand the state of your data, the relationships of your data, how good is your data, which source systems need improvement, what data is sensitive but not protected. These sorts of things are fairly automated. And once you have the automation, then you go understand what is the business intent, what is it that the business is trying to do, how performant does this need to be,
Hmm.
how governed does this need to be with respect to data privacy. And using that business intent, we look at all of this understanding that we have and quickly map your current state into what you need. That's sort of the magic that we provide as our platform.
So that means that you're actually applying AI techniques and technologies to their data to enable them to then have better data so they can apply AI to problem solving. Is that correct?
100%. You got it right. I
Okay.
think there's a big opportunity to use AI to make this access simple.
Okay.
And
So can you describe how you're using AI to help you manage their data?
so multiple things. We are working with a large device manufacturing company, which is using AI applying AI to their device telemetry data to be better prepared for warranty management, to do much better predictive maintenance of different parts that might, go wrong within that device. Just one example, a simple example of how, quickly converting that telemetry data coming from multiple IoT devices into data products allowed the customer to now apply all of these AI techniques to do better warranty management and better
Mhm.
predictive maintenance.
Mhm.
That's one area on the business side as an example I
Oh,
can give.
so hang on. So they're sending IoT data to their cloud data infrastructure.
Yes.
How are you using AI to help them manage the data that's coming in? That's my question.
So when you're getting data from all these IoT sensors, right? Sometimes data might come in. There is a rate at which the events come in. A lot of times, if you see problems with your sensors itself, the rate at which the data comes in could be wrong. Sometimes the data coming out of these things could be corrupted. So the first step is to understand the data that I'm getting from all of these sensors. Is this good quality data? Does this have enough coverage for
Hmm.
me to do predictive maintenance algorithm on top of the data?
Okay.
That aspect of what should be the quality of the data, what level of errors are okay for me to predict what I need to predict with a level of confidence, is what a technology like what we built and a construct of data products provides you. The fundamental essence of treating data as a product is you clearly state, I'm okay with this quality to execute this use case. I need this data to be in this format so I can use this kind of a ML model, ML platform to
Hmm.
run my models, for example. All
Hmm.
of that is captured ahead of time. So when you start using now a data product that capture all of this IoT data,
Hmm.
the problems I told you just now about the device data quality are addressed out of the box. How the data is protected is out of the box. How it should be used and delivered is also out of the box. And
Okay.
that is where applying these kind of data as product techniques
Hmm.
significantly streamlines your AI and shifts your focus to value delivery.
So that's very helpful and clear. Let's shift a little bit and talk about Modern as a company, just so that people have some context around that. So Modern is a Silicon Valley startup,
Yes.
venture backed, and you're going to completely disrupt the industry and or
I truly believe data is at that cusp of becoming truly mainstream. What I mean by that is, like think about as an analogy, the mobile app store construct, smartphone industry.
right.
Before the iOS App Store and the Android App Store, it was a nightmare for a developer to build a mobile application, test it against multiple screens, multiple regions, etc. How do I distribute that? How does the user find my application and deploy it on their device? Was all extremely complicated. iOS came in and said, why do that? I'll standardize with an operating system. I'll give you all of these APIs and interfaces. You just come in, you have your intent in mind. With that intent, use all of my interfaces, build, deploy, start monetizing instantly. That is the same thing. Data is ready for that kind of a disruption, where a business comes into these data product catalogs, data product hubs, finds what they want, implicitly trust, and start using. That is the transformative nature of what we are trying to do. And if we are successful, that is how I think data truly becomes a new oil, where everybody from your marketing manager to your finance consultant to your sales exec can apply AI, Gen AI in their business functions. And that's the vision towards which we are working.
Okay. So how long is it going to take for that vision to be really, really widespread and mainstream?
So we've recently announced our major product upgrade of, industry first business data ready data product catalog, where
Okay.
you're not thinking pipelines, you're not thinking data sets, joins, and all this, and truly treat data like a product, pick it up and start using. That is already transforming. Like I said, organizations that were thinking about a year to execute a use case are now able to do it self-serve. Imagine a large organization that works with thousands of suppliers that sends data to them through Excel spreadsheets today.
Mm-hmm.
Overnight, to API that entire data sharing with third parties using trusted API layers with full security governance built, which is allowing them to think about the monetization very differently than just sharing Excel files over Excel files with the customer. So, and these transformations are happening within months, versus multiple years that it used to take.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking about a major disruption.
Yes, and we are already ready for that. The platform is ready. We are seeing a big momentum from large enterprise clients that see this as a missing piece to close that last mile problem that they have in data.
How long have you been developing this?
The company has been around for about 5.5 years now. We've been probably heads down building this tech for a good majority of that time.
Okay.
And over the last few quarters, we've been really actively, scaling our sales efforts and seeing a ton of momentum. I said the next big innovation in data is going to come from an organization that can streamline the consumption of data, make it simple for business, kind of like what we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
not from storing your data more efficiently, processing the data more efficiently, because that over the last 10 years
Mm-hmm.
has matured enough where it is starting to get commoditized.
Okay. So the focus of the work that we're doing on this channel is on AI. So I'm interested in your thoughts about where you think it's headed in, I don't know, say 2 to 3 years, both in terms of the data and in terms of AI and the evolution and adoption of both the approach that you're talking about, productizing data, and the expansion of AI and its sort of taking over the economy.
Yeah. So a few things, Langdon. One, we absolutely have to solve the data management and making data ready for AI problem.
Mm-hmm.
And when you treat data as a product, forget about which underlying platform you're using to make that happen, it elegantly solves both sides.
Okay.
It streamlines your data management and making the data ready at that base foundational layer. And it also gives you simplified ways of deploying that data towards your decisions because all of the integrations, everything that you need are out of the box available. So
Okay.
I personally truly believe that treating data as a product will become essential to scale AI, the way organizations are envisioning.
Okay.
And when you think about Gen AI, and what I tell our customers is I fear these inflated expectations where, I'm just going to bring an Gen AI model and magically, everything is going to get sorted. I think that is going to happen. We are probably a year and a half away from an organization truly leveraging all of these outputs out of the Gen AI and AI models and automate your business operations
Mm-hmm.
or business decisioning. What we are seeing right now is a lot of these techniques being applied to streamline your operational aspects of your business. How do I streamline my sales operations better? How do I streamline my cloud financial operations? How do I streamline marketing ops? That is
Mhm.
where we are encouraging our customers to start playing with some of these technologies because
Mhm.
there is an immediate win in terms of the efficiencies you can bring from an operational side to these enterprises. And as these models mature, you will see a lot of automated business decisioning happening.
Okay.
But that will only happen when you can inherently and implicitly trust the underlying data, which is the biggest challenge that everybody is facing today.
Mhm. We're getting revolutions now compounding on other revolutions,
Mhm.
which is driving this process of exponential change. It's very interesting to think about, again, the base layer. Like, earlier you talked about, if your data doesn't have good quality, then you can't trust AI to run on your data because you don't know what you're going to get, which is sort of a restatement, a modern statement of the old saying, garbage in, garbage out, right?
Yes. That's kind of fundamentally, you put it succinctly. Yeah, that is literally what we are solving here.
Yeah.
Right. And it's exciting, what we are trying to scratch the surface with what's happening with AI and Gen AI today,
Mhm.
and what I see happening in the future. Imagine specific agents that are looking at your proposals that are coming in to see what is the effectiveness of this. How am I, keeping an eye on my EBITDA, on my margins? How am I serving my customers better with, much more personalized experience?
Mhm.
I see these sort of agents being built specifically to power and streamline each of these business functions, and eventually all these agents talking to each other
Mhm.
to automate your business decisioning. And
Yeah.
Salesforce is starting to talk a little bit about it with their agent force architecture, where they want all these agents that are solving specific business problems.
Mhm.
I think that's the right approach, but it again, like we said, it hinges on the right data prepared against those business intents
Mhm.
as these data products which can power that agentic flow, very, very effectively. This is not a generic problem like the internet knowledge corpus that I'm trying to learn on. Every business is so unique, how their data is prepared, what it means to their business is so unique. It
Mhm.
requires a lot more of, what I just said, versus
Yeah.
treating it with one size fits all strategy.
Are agents now talking with other agents, and we have a chain of agents that are either making decisions or making recommendations or providing input, or is it one agent that interacts with a human, which then leads to another agent? So in other words, if there's a chain of agents that are working autonomously, then you can envision that entire business processes that are quite complex and significant financial cost implication and value can be entirely autonomous. And I'm just wondering how close we are to that sort of a situation.
I believe that that is the right vision. I think we are probably a couple of years away
Hmm.
from having all of these agents talk to each other
Right,
because, like I said, organizations are still spending most of their money fixing their underlying infrastructure.
right.
And once that stops and you start focusing on how these agents play well with each other, how do I create these agentic flows, that is where the conversation is to shift.
Yeah.
Whereas in the market, we are starting to apply these agents on specific domains. The way you have described all these agents being able to talk to each other towards a business automation, I think we are 1.5 to 2 years away from that.
Okay.
I-
But it's coming.
But it is coming. I mean, I think it'll be the future. You've already seen it with process automation and other areas which got significant what do you say value realization to happen quickly because of the kind of automation we've done.
Yeah.
So what we're talking about is not like a new paradigm per se. That has already worked in the overall technology space, this kind of automation. And data is ready for that. I think 2 years, it
Mhm.
would be my guess.
Well, it will be a paradigm shift as the stakes get higher. Like if agents are not right now working at a relatively low level logistically and organizing to solve FedEx or UPS delivery problems or things of that nature, that's one thing. But if agents are creating and feeding decisions to each other that are leading to business consequences, then that's a whole different world. The general evolution of technology implies that that's where we're headed. which becomes a very, very interesting sort of futurist perspective. And the question is how soon that future is arriving. And, if you're right that it's a couple of years, then that's really pretty soon.
I think so. I mean, I do believe this is starting to catch fire because
Yeah.
the other thing we didn't talk about besides the quality issues is the data silos.
Okay.
All this data, imagine if all of your e-commerce data sits in a silo and the data around how you're managing your distribution centers sits in a different silo. How do you now identify through an agent that this is increase in demand I've seen, in this store. So a distribution center proactively ensure that, the demand is fulfilled.
Hmm.
There is a little bit of that which needs to be fixed as well, where the data talks to, is not siloed and it's
Right.
more a unified view across enterprise.
Yep. So that's available now or that's coming?
It is happening. There is enough technology, but I feel the customers that I work with, they still struggle with some of those data silos where, they haven't completely solved it on their end yet.
So in the data lake model, which is DataOS or modern, have a role to play in that infrastructure as well?
That is exactly where we play is we'll sit on top of your lake or we'll sit on top of your cloud warehouse and make all of that data business ready from a consumption perspective.
Any other thoughts or comments?
If you try to fix data using a 5-year, 10-year-old approach, you are going to struggle. If we are living in the era of AI, Gen AI, there are much simpler, much better ways of managing all of your data needs so that that trusted base layer happens much faster than what you think it could.
Hmm.
And if you look at what Gartner is talking about with data as a product, why that category suddenly has become such a hot category in data
Hmm.
is because of the simplicity that it brings in its approach to getting data to be set up well from a foundational perspective.
How do you describe the end state in like 2 sentences?
I'll give you an example. You have a category manager in a marketing department that is trying to understand the propensity of your customer to specific categories and who should I push what categories to. This is a fairly common problem that exists in a lot of enterprises today.
Okay.
This new world that I'm talking about, you could literally bring a few off-the-shelf models, slightly tune them, and as a business team, try this out yourself, and then start applying it into your business decisioning. I think that is exciting for us. Is I'm starting to see that way of just finding what you want, trusting what you want, and using it instantly, and not just doing it one time, but being able to repeat it for every data access that you have to execute every use case. And
Okay.
as a result of all of this data being available, we have seen significant improvements in your campaign goals and objectives that you have set up. We are able to see some of our distribution companies being able to fulfill campaign objectives, for their end customers in a lot better, more efficient manner. We have seen significant improvement in driving further sales for some of our customers. We've helped improve marketing efficiency significantly. We've helped e-commerce click-through rates on purchases improving as a result of this underlying platform. So in one of our customers that in the first 3 months of deploying DataOS, 40% increase in sales for their higher selling sales category because of the intelligence we are able to provide in being able to understand which accounts to hunt, which accounts to farm, what is the propensity of that specific category across different demographics. And all of that data help them significantly improve the revenue in that category. One specific point I'll make is the rate of reordering that the customers do, has increased significantly because of a lot of ML-based models that we run, and we integrate that insight into the apps that the sales people use in their day-to-day lives. And that in itself has significantly increased their reorder rates.
So that's essentially paid for wherever they had to pay you. So they got a very instant ROI.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
They
You
must
start
be.
working with us in the first 1 year, I will show you the ROI on your investment.
So, Srujan, thank you so much for spending some time with me. I really appreciate your insights. It's a fascinating story, and obviously, you guys are going to be tremendously successful very soon.
Thanks, Langdon. Thanks for that great conversation. And yeah, looking forward to more such and sharing our growth story with you.
That's great. Thanks. All right.